Hello, Aries. Welcome to your reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. Thank you so much for letting me read for you. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment. Consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Aries, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we've got the Devil energy. This is your engine. This is your creative drive. This is a driving force for you to create life, to live life, to be an embodiment of your purpose, right? Sometimes we feel this drive, and if it doesn't get recognized and applied to whatever that sort of mysterious purpose or meaning of life is, it can become a pleasure drive. It can become an aggressive drive, right? This is the drive for us to create. And I think that you're someone where if you find yourself living a life that you really don't resonate with, it's usually because you've strayed from your sense of purpose. When you're living a life of purpose, when you're doing your very best to embody that purpose and that meaning of that mystery within you, when you are kind of answering the call, right? I feel like life has a lot more resonance. Life has a lot more green lights, right? That the path forward for you seems to be cleared away by an unseen force. The obstacles become less. The friction becomes less. It's as if you are being guided and supported by something unseen, right? And indeed, I feel you are. With this card, I feel this is a lot of endurance. I feel like when you are in the zone, so to speak, there's no pulling you out of that, right? If we slow down, if we get distracted, if we get off course, I think Spirit really does let you know in no uncertain terms, right? So I feel there's a lot of forces that are trying to keep you on the path right now. Keep you focused on whatever is at the top of this mountain. And it's not really about getting to the top of the mountain either. It's about the journey. It's about you living that life where you are your purpose. Whatever that happens to be, it's not about what you're doing in life, but about how and why. Are you doing it because you feel an inner calling? Because you feel that something is compelling you to live your life this way, whatever you're doing in the physical world, right, is larger than you are. Let's put this card into a little bit of context. Yeah, let's see. This is a lot of ambition. This is a lot of endurance, a lot of stamina. And also happy holidays to everybody who's watching. Now you've got the Libra energy, which Libra, of course, is your opposite sign, Aries. So this is very, very interesting. You got that 10 of Pentacles. There's that jackpot. A 4 of Pentacles. Okay. Four of Swords. Now we have 2 of the 4 cards, right? And the 4 cards to me always represent a kind of temporary resting place. It represents the impermanence of life, but sometimes we get stuck in these places because these are the safe places, okay? And yes, we've got that High Priestess leading you forward. There is something invisible guiding you. There is something, I think, very spiritual supporting you, even when perhaps the goat is an indication of that, right? The Devil card. Perhaps even when nobody else is supporting you, Spirit is. It's that internal support. It's that unseen, that invisible support that we feel, even when nothing else seems to be supporting us. And maybe it is this lonely mountain goat energy for you right now. Let's keep going. Let's do the rest of our cards. We've got an Ace of Swords. There is that Hermit. And a 6 of Swords. and the Sun card. This is a major jackpot for you. This is going to be really, really wonderful. I like that we have the your sort of opposite sign, the Libra energy, right? Because that's showing a balance. That's showing also this need for us to be very discerning. And I think that there's a reason why we've got the Hermit in the environment position, or the Hermit in terms of your relationships, because you're learning how to say no to things. You're learning that you don't really need the support of everybody. You don't need everybody or anybody to hold your hand. You do need your intuition. You do need your spiritual connection, which this is sort of the spiritual guide, right? This is that spiritual force that's leading you ahead. It's kind of like you've got this. There's almost an apparition in front of you that's beckoning you and saying, "Come this way, because your best life is this way." Right? The fulfillment of your purpose, you living this life filled with meaning and filled with purpose, is this way. The High Priestess is always leading you toward the Empress, right? And the Empress is that sort of, it's that paradise. It's that big rock candy mountain. It's that life where you're living your meaning, you're living your purpose. Yeah, it's very good. Mystery card. Let's select the mystery card. Bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown, and we're going to set it down right here. We're going to put Clark W. Griswold III right there on top for the holidays anyway. And we're not going to look at that card until the very end. But we'll tie everything together, and it will give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction for that card, please leave something down in the comments below. Okay, let's use this intuition that is sort of guiding us forward. Yeah. Let's take a look around and see how many majors. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana energies. That's pretty good. That's a lot. We don't have any fire necessarily. We have some fire in this Capricorn energy. We've got a little bit of fire in the Sun, obviously, right? We also don't have any water either, which I find to be interesting, but I think that's where the High Priestess is leading you. The High Priestess is leading you toward the Empress. The High Priestess also has, for some reason, I'm feeling an association with a camel, right? And I feel like the camel is kind of leading you through the desert to the water. And you have this trust. You have this almost well, it's a sixth sense, but it feels like it's an instinct. It feels like you are slowly moving forward in this desert, or maybe we can use the mountain sort of metaphor, but that there is no guarantee of success. There is no guarantee of water at all. There's no guarantee of any kind of pleasure or joy, but this is something that means something to you. You're not doing this because it feels good or because, well, it's going to bring me a lot of money at the end, you know. You're doing something because you've heard the call. You know that this is your path in life. And the implication is that if you're living your purpose, if you are giving voice, if you are embodying whatever the mystery is inside of you that wants to get out, the joy will come. The money will come, right? And I feel that's why we are trusting in this process. Because we know that the camel is going to lead us to the oasis. We know that the High Priestess is showing us the way to the Empress. Okay. So we may be very tired, very thirsty right now. But we're trusting in this creative process. Yeah. A lot of major arcana energies. And the Hermit, of course, it feels as if you're on your own in a way. But even when you are absolutely alone in the world, you always have that connection with your true self. And I feel that's what is going on here, is that your true self is demanding expression. And you are giving life to that. With the understanding that maybe it will bring you some joy and some money and some recognition and some pleasure, right? But that's not the purpose. That's not what it's all for you, right? So we have then a lot of air. We have the air cards here. Even, of course, the Libra energy with the adjustment card, that's some air energy. Even the High Priestess, well, it's a little bit of the communication, even if it's not overtly air. We have our Earth and Earth cards here. Okay, so it's all major arcana. And then it's air and earth, which is pretty dry, right? It's kind of that we're in search of water. We're getting to be a little bit parched here. The Libra energy is a higher discernment. The Libra energy might be that right now you're focused on making the right connections. It's not about forming alliances with the people that you like, that feel good. It's a pleasurable relationship. We're going to have fun together. This is going to be great. It's not like we're trying to, we just want to hire our best friend because then, work will be a party, right? No, you're making those connections. You're making those deals, those agreements, those choices in life that are for the best, that are going to allow you to continue this journey, right, of embodying your purpose and the meaning of your life, this inner mystery of the true self that's trying to get out, right? So the ego's not making choices that are going to bring it the most pleasure, right? That's what we want to do, right? And then every day we make those kinds of choices, right? Well, am I going to choose the meal that is just going to taste good and it's going to make my body feel good for a few minutes? Or am I going to choose the meal that is really the best for whatever my goals are? Right now I'm kind of dealing with a stomach thing, so I need just kind of like bland food, and you know what I mean? So yeah, I want the ice cream and I want the really rich Mexican food or the really spicy gumbo, but I'm kind of going with just some white rice and some steamed vegetables, that sort of thing. We're making the right choices. Well, what are we basing those choices on? That's kind of the idea. So with the Devil card here, we're making choices that are going to allow us to continue this journey, that are going to further the work. And when I say work, I don't mean necessarily your job or what you do for money. I mean what you're putting your effort and your energy into in a way that has meaning and purpose. In a way, really, with the 10 of Pentacles underneath, in a way that makes you feel rich. This is all about wealth. But it's not physical wealth. It's not money. It could be. And this is going to be part of it for sure. This is a life that is full of meaning and purpose. This is the picture of your best life. The best life, the happy life, the successful life, is not what we think it is. It's not, well, I have a job that pays me a lot of money, or I have all this money and now I can just sort of buy myself the toys that I want. The best life for you is not always pleasurable, not always pleasant, but it's meaningful, it's rich, right? It's varied. It has ups and downs. It has joys and sorrows, right? If we think our best life is just accumulating toys and having nothing but pleasurable experiences, we're going to be very disappointed. Okay? So your idea of wealth and of richness goes way beyond that. Of course, we want the toys, right? We want the pleasurable experiences, but that's not what you are basing your choices on, because I feel like you know that if you're doing the right thing by your true self, right? Capital S. If you are following your purpose, following the spiritual will within you, right? Doing what you're meant to do in this life. Again, it's not what you're doing, but how and why. It could be literally anything. I feel like it is in service to something greater than you, and I feel like it is not always fun, but it is always worthwhile. It is always satisfying in that sense of you're giving voice, you're giving expression to your higher self. And you're living out that mystery that is within you. And it's different for everybody, right? It makes you feel like a wealthy person. And I think that it is putting you in touch with a lot of important people. You're establishing great relationships with people that on the surface, right at the beginning, we're not choosing because, oh, that'll be fun. right? We're making choices in life based on what will further the work, not on just what feels good now, right? So that's our 10. The 4 of Pentacles in the background here, there's always a reluctance to begin this journey. This is kind of like, why would you leave the safety, security, and stability of your home, let's say your childhood home, right? Why would you leave what is safe and familiar to go on this open-ended journey through the desert? Why would anybody do that, right? Because this is very enticing. It's kind of like, I'm just going to stay here where it's safe. There are monsters outside. There are scary things outside of the walls. So very often we choose what is familiar. Even though our spirit is calling us, see, we see the high priestess over here. If we're stuck in this 4 of Pentacles, we can look outside and see the high priestess saying, hey, follow me toward your best life. Follow me through the desert here. And we're thinking, wow, then I've got to go through this stuff. This is what the journey through the desert will be like. Having to make those very important choices all by myself and having to endure this treacherous and lonely path all by myself, right? And so this is the obstacle in our minds. This is what we're seeing. We're seeing all the work it's going to take to follow Spirit, and we're thinking, well, I'll just stay in my 4 of Pentacles. So the 4 of Pentacles becomes your starting point. This was that moment in your life. Now, I think you've already left home. I think you've already heard the call, you've answered the summons, you're following your high priestess, okay? But I think there was a time where and you probably can recognize the exact moment where you said, you know what? I'm going to go outside. I'm going to face my fear. I'm going to do this thing. I'm going to answer the call. And that usually leads to a lot of changes in life. See, anytime we get a 4, we start looking for the 5. Because once we start answering the call of Spirit, it's going to cause some different things to happen in life. We're going to go outside and we're going to invoke change. That's the only constant in life is change, right? So when we choose to do this, now facing your fear doesn't mean that, if you're afraid of heights, like I happen to be, then, we're going to go and skydive or something, right? That's my biggest human fear is skydiving, right? And I don't think I will ever do it. But that's not exactly what's meant by going outside of the castle walls and answering the call to adventure, right? It's the courage to start living a life that is at least striving to express that inner mystery, to express whatever it is that has been calling you forward, that we always, I think throughout our life, we kind of know that something's there calling us. But very often we just get wrapped up in other things. We get we get comfortable in life, in the routines of life, and we end up not listening so much to the call of Spirit. But I think you've heard it. You've listened, and I think you've answered the call. And the 4 of Swords is pretty much the same idea, right? That we've stopped making excuses as to why we can't do this, why I can't change my life, why I cannot start living this authentic life. Oh, well, I've got too many responsibilities. I've got kids. I've got bills to pay. I've got a day job. I can't do it. It's too cold outside. It's too dark outside. It's too scary outside. There are too many monsters out there. We make a lot of excuses. But with the 4, I feel as if you've stopped making those excuses. And it's kind of like, I got nothing to say now. It's kind of like, yeah, this is, I ran out of excuses. I guess I have to do it. It reminds me of a Seinfeld episode. He can't think of an excuse to say no to whatever the invitation is. And so he just has to say, okay, I guess I'll do it. And so that's when Jerry writes a list of all the excuses he's going to use when people invite him places or whatever it was. A wonderful show, very funny. We've ran out of excuses, and so now we're answering the call. The mind, we've given the mind enough opportunity to wear itself out, right? And so this, even though this is a 4, And we're kind of expecting the 5 in a certain sense, because now the mind has to kick into gear and start figuring out the plan going forward, and what are some of the logistics here, right? And whatever this is that you're doing, whatever life you're leading now, I feel like there's a lot to figure out still. Okay, so we've got to mobilize the mind in that way to figure out the logistics of something. But it's such a wonderful idea that we've gotten outside of our comfort zone here, and we're doing the scary thing. We're living a life of meaning and purpose, and we are giving voice and giving expression and embodying that mystery within us. And you are listening. You're hearing the call of your higher self, saying, "This way. Come this way." I feel like your spirit guides have been yelling at you for years. Get over here. Come do what you're meant to do in life, right? Live your life the way you're meant to live it. And whether this is taking you into art or creativity, or into business, or into parenthood, or medical stuff, or whatever it doesn't matter. What matters is that you are living your life in such a way where if somebody were to ask you, are you doing what your true self is guiding you to do? Are you fulfilling that purpose? Are you doing your best? Now, nobody's perfect. Are you doing everything that you can within your power to give expression to your inner self, your true self, your higher self, the God, goddess, deity within? Are you answering the call of your guardian angel, your spirit guides, your ancestors, right? How many of us can say, I think I am, yeah. I think I'm doing that. I'm trying every day, and it's not easy. And we falter, and we lag, and we delay, and we trip and fall, and we stumble, and we suffer, but I'm doing it. I'm trying to, yeah. Every day, right? Every day. I like this. This is really, I think that it's important that you in some ways placate the ego by thinking, okay, the rewards are going to be there. This may seem like an arid desert landscape now, but the oasis will appear. There will be rewards. There will be the financial support. There will be joy and love in life, right? As sort of it's almost as a side effect of doing your will is going to be love and joy, because you're putting yourself in harmony with the process of change of the universe, of your true self, the voice of your spirit. And with that harmony comes more ease, comes a little bit more reward in life, right? And I think, that's part of our 10 of Pentacles down here. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please do. It's totally free, doesn't cost anything. Your Ace of Swords here is your general energy. You have this absolute clarity. You are hearing the voice of spirit loud and clear. And you know what your path is. This isn't what you do for money, but it will provide you with financial support. Okay? This isn't what you're doing in life because it feels good and just because it's fun and it's pleasant in the moment. Although you will experience joy and jubilation through this path. You are doing this because it feels as if this was the word written on your soul before your birth. And this is how you have to live your life. Okay? And you are, I think you're tapped in with, you're somebody that has a very strong connection with spirit. And I think that you are, you're being guided by all of these messages from within. There's this voice within you that is always trying to find expression. And I think when we are sort of locked up here, this is like we've got our noise-canceling headphones on, right? And we're just not hearing it. But now you're out in this desert, and I think you can fully hear very clearly the voice of your own soul and what it is that you're meant to express and what kind of life you are meant to live. Living a life full of meaning and purpose. And again, it doesn't matter what specifically you are doing. Because this 10 of Pentacles, while this is the details of your best life, these details will change. One day it might be a doctor, a nurse working in healthcare. Maybe you're an EMT. One day it might be I'm going to write a book, or I'm going to teach, or I'm going to be a parent, or I want to just go into business or something like this. Your soul will take you through many different roles in life. You'll wear many different hats, many different personae, right? The magician is that sort of energy. Well, maybe that'll be the mystery card. So know that this is going to change. Spirit isn't saying you're meant to be a doctor, and then, well, that's what you got to devote your life to, is being a doctor. Well, maybe I think it's more diffuse than that. It might just be you're meant to heal people. You're meant to connect with people and heal them. You're meant to try to alleviate suffering in the world in some way. Maybe it's as a doctor through healthcare. Maybe it's through teaching. Maybe it's through some kind of public service, or whatever it is. Right? There's a million different ways that you could embody that sort of message. But I feel that this is really the simplified version. See if you can transcribe your spiritual purpose into like 7 words or less. Heal, alleviate suffering in the world. Something like that, right? I don't know how many words that is. It doesn't have to be something very specific. I'm meant to be an EMT in this particular county, working these hours for this many years, and then I'm going to sort of go into this thing. We don't have to have that kind of a plan. Maybe it's just like I'm meant to heal people. I'm meant to teach, or I'm meant to construct. I'm meant to produce some kind of art that can convey a deeper spiritual message to other people, or convey an emotion, or give people that sense of numinosity, right? Whatever it might be. Narrow down your purpose to just a few words, as vague as possible, honestly, right? The details will come, and that's what we see when we get to the 6 of Swords in just a moment. But you've got your Hermit energy. It is a lonely path. And when you first leave that 4 of Pentacles, your life is probably going to get a little bit lonelier. When you're that mountain goat making choices that are not based on fun and pleasure and joy and that kind of thing, it's going to put you on a path kind of all by yourself. Because people are going to say, "Oh, wow, Aries, well, they're not any fun anymore." They don't want to hang out, and they're not always up for the party or whatever. I don't know what they're doing. They're just a party pooper now. Yeah, the Hermit could be the party pooper. That's okay. Because this is a realization that you don't have to engage in things just to fit in, or just so people can keep liking you. If you say no to something, to some invitation, and people get mad at you, maybe they're not your people. So you should be able to choose to do your work and to pursue your meaning and not be shunned by the people that love you. So if you find yourself all alone on this path, maybe that's good. Spirit is always there with you. The Hermit is all about finding that support when no one is supporting you. Finding something that is going to cheer you on and that is going to help push you forward when nobody else is going to do that. Okay, Spirit will do that. So when you're on this part of the journey, you can't go back to your old friends. You haven't yet found your new friends yet. So you're in this lonely stretch, but the High Priestess is leading you to your Empress life, leading you to your best life, to your paradise, to the oasis. And at the oasis are other travelers just like you, from all walks of life, from all different faiths and creeds and religions and all different professions or vocations. Everybody has a different word or phrase inscribed on their sword. But we all meet at the oasis, right? And you'll find your crowd. You'll find your people. But right now you're being guided by that inner light. Yeah. And the next card we have, of course, is the 6 of Swords, which is the blueprint, the divine plan itself, right? And I think this is where the mind really needs to kick in and start thinking of some of the logistics here, because while our fundamental underlying purpose might be very simple and vague, healing. Okay, well, what the heck does that mean? That's just a random word, right? Baking, I don't know. the mind has to kick in and start thinking, okay, well, let me set this up in a particular way and let me go down this path. You know, it's almost as if spirit is kind of saying, go that way. And, well, now you've got to actually carve the path. You've got to actually, you know, make the decisions, make the appropriate connections. You got to connect the dots. It's like spirit just gives you a vague kind of, it just sort of points, go that way. Okay, well, now there are obstacles, there's different terrain. You've got to set up the system. You've got to find a little bit of order in all of that chaos. In order to have, because, you know, if we're going to do something in the physical world, the mind has to develop some sort of a game plan. This is like, I want to start a business where I'm healing people, you know, spiritual healing. I want to do, you know, Reiki or something, right? Okay, that's great. That's a wonderful sort of aspiration. That is even very detailed, right? That's a very specific way of healing a specific group of people. So even that is a little bit more particular than the ace. The Ace of Swords is just this kind of, it's very simple. And it might just be healing. Okay, then the mind kicks in. What kind of healing? Who am I healing? Where am I going to do that? Okay, I'm going to do Reiki on the internet or in the particular out in Santa Cruz or somewhere. Okay, now we're getting specific. Now we're getting somewhere. Okay, how are you going to do that? What is the step-by-step plan that we need to formulate in order to do that? And this is all of that work that the mind loves to do. The mind loves to plan. The mind loves to organize and figure things out and make phone calls and make, you know, lists and checklists and all this kind of stuff. And this is the kind of mental work that really does feel good because we know that we're living our purpose. We're giving expression. This is how we are fleshing out our idea. And this feels very, very satisfying, right? Because this is the expression, this is the unfoldment of our purpose. Going from that ace, now it's got a little bit more complexity with the 6 here. And of course, the next stage is the 10, the materialization of all of those details. And maybe you'll find that over the course of time, this doing the Reiki in Santa Cruz then becomes something else. Then maybe you find your way to a different place. Maybe you go to the opposite side of the country. You go over to Maine. You go to the coast out there somewhere. And you're doing some other kind of healing work, right? Whatever the journey, wherever it takes you. And you're open to that because we're not so stuck and so rigid that we think Reiki in Santa Cruz, that's it, that's what I'm supposed to do. And any divergence from that gets met with anxiety. No, we're going with that flow because that is part of our clarity, right? Otherwise, we get stuck in a 4 of Pentacles. Again, we get stuck in that box. I don't want to leave that box. I've gotten comfortable doing the Reiki in Santa Cruz, and I don't want to do anything else, right? You'll know when that starts to happen. Because when there is a refusal for you to change anything, when there's a refusal where you don't want to change your mind, you don't want to change what you're doing, you're saying, I love it the way it is, it's perfect, and any potential change gets met with anxiety, that's when you know, okay, I've boxed myself in too much. The Sun card at the end is absolutely free. There is a greater journey here that we're not privy to. There is a larger orbit of your spiritual being, your self, your true self. The God, Goddess, deity within you has really an eternal path, an infinite journey through the cosmos. We don't really understand. We don't know all the details. So how we apply that to our lives is that our mind likes to have some sort of understanding or knowledge of something. So, okay, I'm going to plan, I'm going to do the Reiki in Santa Cruz. That's what I got. Cool. And that's a very small chunk of time. Especially when we're talking the cosmic proportions here. Spirit has other ideas. Yeah, okay, maybe the Reiki in Santa Cruz is like this much, but then you've got this other length of journey too that's going to take you in so many other places. It's going to put you in touch with so many different people and doing so many different things. If we're resistant to that, we're right back in the 4 of Pentacles. Okay? So we're open to where the journey will take us. And you know that when you're following your will, when you are doing your very best to listen to what Spirit is telling you, to answer the call, to heed the summons, and to embody that inner mystery, you know that wherever that path takes you is the right place, you know? And the mind becomes your ally. It's kind of saying, okay, look, Spirit has brought me now to the east coast of the United States. I'm on a fishing boat. I don't know how I got here, but here I am. And we trust that this is part of the plan. This is part of the process. Now the mind has to think logistically, okay, how am I going to do this? How am I going to use this? Well, maybe you're out there trying to feed people, or maybe you're doing some sort of environmental conservation, or, something like this, right? Wherever it takes you. Doing Reiki in Santa Cruz, or you're doing some kind of environmental stuff in Maine. It doesn't matter. It's all part of the same sense of purpose. Yeah. Because we don't know everywhere that the journey will take us. I'm here now doing tarot readings on YouTube. Who knows in 10 years, or even 5, or whatever, how this is going to evolve and where this is going to take me, Let's look at our mystery card. I'm curious. Maybe some water energy. Maybe the Empress. If you have a prediction, put it in the comments down below. Let's see what we have. The Wheel of Fortune, the jackpot. Yes. It's your time to shine. It is ARIES-O'CLOCK. Okay? This is the card of divine timing. This is the cosmic timepiece. This is Spirit's wristwatch. I'm not wearing mine today. This is the card that says it's time for you to do this. It's time for you, I think, to really expand in this path. I think that your life is going to get better and better and better. I think that you are driving through a lot of green lights right now, and I think you're finding the flow of this path that you're in. And I don't know how long it's been since you were sort of here, like before you really took this leap or took this plunge, before we sort of ventured out of our hut and were in the vast desert, right? I don't know how long ago that was, but I feel like Spirit is saying it's your time to really reap some rewards. It's time for your path to expand. And I think you're seeing doors opening. You're seeing the oasis in front of you, right? This is some Jupiter energy. This is very expansive. Your life is getting bigger and bigger. I think that more and more rewards are coming in. I think you're finding the financial support where you need it. And I think that you are making the right connections with the right people to expand your network, to provide even more and more opportunities for you. And you're letting your true self guide you. You have all these doors to go through. Which one do you go through? You got to trust your inner knowing, trust your intuition. Spirit will show you which door to go through. Okay. Sometimes with the Wheel of Fortune, we have such a rapid expansion of our universe that it sort of gives us some anxiety, because it's like, how do I know which way to go? So many doors open for you all at once. How do we choose which door to walk through? You've got to trust in your instinct, your intuition, your spiritual guide, right? That quiet voice of Spirit within you. Yeah. This is the jackpot. This is really good. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, there's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Aries Mondays and Fridays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It's totally free. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. Happy holidays, and we're all in this together.